Assalamu alaikum. Guys, I want to thank SSA for the impressive organization of this event. And I want to thank everyone in the room for being the first crowd to show up on time. I know I'll get in trouble for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Thank you, Iowa City. I appreciate it. What we saw today is the product of our future leaders. Yasmin, you did a wonderful job. We appreciate you. You are a very talented young lady, and you're going to be one of our future leaders, inshallah. I also want to thank Mahmoud Izzeddin for getting the connection going here. Mahmoud, thank you very much. You see, we are trying to get the young generation involved in this because this is, although it's for both generations, it's all about them. So please get the kids involved. Please bring them to us, and we will make sure that this continues to be a success in the future. A little bit of history, and I know my friends here are looking at the Haramat Marawi. I wasn't there, okay? I was born in Khartoum, Sudan in 1966 to a very hard-working mother, and the reason I say mother is because my success really and truly I attribute all that to my mother, who really worked 16-hour days because my father was an activist back in the day and he was always locked up. So, you know, that lady worked 16-hour days, and I thought that was normal, and that's why I did that when it was my turn. Moved to the US in 1987 to become a pilot. Attended a school in Fort Worth, Texas, while I worked for Domino's Pizza as a delivery driver. I started with Domino's in 1990, August 16th, 1990 to be exact. Making $4 an hour, and by the way, when I moved here, I had only $400 to my name when I moved from Sudan. Joined the management program with Domino's Pizza in 1995, and I managed the Irving, Texas location, South Irving, Texas. Maybe Mahmoud remembers that. That was my first beginning with Domino's Pizza as a manager. Very hungry young guy, wanted to make the dollar and wanted to be successful. But I stayed with Domino's because really and truly, it was, you know, a very challenging and competitive business. But at the end of the day, you know your results and you know how much, you know, success was produced that day, or if you fail, so you can fix and be better the next day. 2000, I was National Manager of the Year for Domino's Pizza, which is the highest honor a Domino's Pizza manager can be awarded. And in my third location, which was the first store in America to break $2.5 million in sales in a residential area, I was getting paid $124,000 managing a Domino's Pizza store. Most folks don't know this. People think it's an entry-level job, but obviously there is money in there, along with a lot of success. So I did that for 8 years, and many folks were asking me, why do you want to move to another level where you're going to make less money? Because when you start your business, chances are you might make less money. Why do you want to walk away from 6-digit salary to take a chance and maybe you'll fail? And we're going to talk about failure today. 2005, I made another crazy move, of course, and moved to Houston to start a franchise. Started with 2 locations, and now we're at 7 locations. The goal is to get to 10, hopefully by the end of this year. And really and truly, you know, if you are a hardworking, you know, individual, there is no room for failure. And when I say failure, I talk about permanent failure, because failure is an event, and failure is your best friend, by the way. And that's why the presentation is named Better Fail Than Sorry. So, last year on the way to Virginia to attend our national conference, I picked up a book and was flipping through the pages on the way there on the plane ride. The name of the book is A Triple Package by Professor Amy Chua of Yale School of Law School. And it highlights the successes of the newcomers. There are new communities in America, immigrant communities, that are doing really great. We're not going back to the days of the Jewish community or the Mormons, but no, these are new heroes that we have here in the US now. She's talking about the success that the Nigerians are having, the Iranians are having, the Indian community is having, and so many. She found the 3 important ingredients that make these communities successful and kind of supersede the rest of us. These folks were raised from an early age in countries where they were told they were superior. Now, whether that is right or not, let's not worry about it, but they were raised in communities or in villages or in their countries. They were told they were special people, they were superior, they're better than other people. Then they moved to the US and they found out that they're not top performers here because of language barriers and maybe the race, the color, and they come up with this insecurity factor that, by the way, makes them outperform others because they feel like, hey, to be that superior person, I have to work extra hard in this country to achieve what I'm supposed to be achieving here. The third ingredient is the impulse control, which is basically these people make sure that their kids, do very good in schools academically, and play music, and A's and A's plus are what they want. A B is a failure in their book. So in the process, their second generation kind of passes everybody else at school, and they do better than the rest. The shocker came when I got to page 43. Page 43 lists the two poorest immigrant communities in America, and this was a heartbreaker because guess what? It was the Sudanese American community and the Somali American community. Those were the two poorest in the US. So you start asking yourself, are we one of two or are we the poorest? I think we're the poorest. But why? When we are really, really more educated and we do better than these guys. Let's compare us versus them. We are more educated. I look in the room and I know if I ask who's got a PhD, I'm going to see a bunch of hands get raised. Who's got a master's degree? I know we have a bunch of you guys here. Who's holding a management position? A bunch of you in the room. The other communities have, when they move here, they are less educated than us, but they do better than us. So that was a problem. So they possess the triple package. What about us? The three things I just mentioned, do we have any of that? I personally think, and I don't know if Fareed disagrees with me, I think we have an overdose of triple package. And I think that backfired on us because we are really proud of who we are, but because we have an overdose of that, it backfired on us. They unite around a common goal. So if there is something that will benefit the community, everyone will rally behind a leader and they will get stuff done. We don't do that. Things that are supposed to unite people break us, and that's the problem. That's why I joined SAPAA, by the way. You got your answer, Sada. The reason we're shattered in the US as communities, as organizations, is because we come here with a lot of baggage from back home. And we fail to recognize the fact that our kids are born here, our kids are Americans. So we're trying to do things the Sudanese way in America. When they get here, other communities, what do? They hit the ground running because they have organizations like SAPAA that shows them the way. We come to the US and we, become roommates with a friend, and if the friend is delivering pizzas, I became a pizza delivery guy. Problem before me, everybody who delivered pizza did not want to move up. Everyone just wanted to be a driver, and the reason is because they're going back home soon. Every Sudanese in America is going back home soon. But nobody goes back, and if they go, they come back. So we're always going back home in December, but we never tell people what year. So we try to save our way to richness, and it doesn't work that way in this country. So the other organizations failed because we are here, like I said, and we're leaving. We conduct business the American way, the Sudanese way, sorry, and we are the first case of an implant rejecting the body. Usually when you implant an organ, sometimes the body rejects it, but we are the organ, and we are rejecting America, and that's why we cannot move forward. And then we're divided by politics, race, religion, hilal marikh. So we have so many issues that divide us, which should not be brought up in a setting like this, because we're here to make sure that everyone is successful. And believe it or not, if everyone in this room is successful, I am more successful. Look at the other communities. The Indians rule the hospitals. We have qualified doctors who pass their exams who cannot get a residency. They can't get work in this country, and they are very talented people. Because we don't network, they network. Because they take chances on their own, we don't take chances on each other. So that's a problem. And trust. Sometimes when somebody's trying to do something good for the community, people are first question that comes, what is he up to? Why is he doing this? Okay, SAPAA is baggage free, and that's why I joined, by the way, because when you leave the three things that I just mentioned, and Ayat Hilal Marikh, and they're out of the picture, you can secure success. Previous tries failed because of these combinations. We're trying to really and truly bring politics to something that really has nothing to do with politics. We try to tell someone how to worship God, and that's not the way it works. So those are the things that divide us, and we left them out. SAPAA's mission is to bridge the gap between the first and second generation Sudanese Americans. And by giving the mic to the kids, we let the kids tell us, the parents, what they want, how can we really become better parents. The way we were raised in Sudan will not work here, because it's only us at home, and if we don't get together like this and create the village, and I thank you, Iowa, for having the village, appreciate that. If we don't have the community to support the parents, guess what? They go to school, that's a majority, that's a big chunk of people that are really doing things a different way. So you're telling them something, but they are living something different, and we are always in a fight. And we confuse our kids by trying to tell them, hey, be like this and be like that, and in the process they are really and truly confused. SAPAA is a platform that we really need to use and utilize to network. I really don't see, if someone had moved here from Sudan and stayed with Sally and Khalid, or with Samar, or with Farid, or any of the people that I know, and many of you in the room, they would have not, become successful like you guys. But we need a platform to share our successes. If we don't share the successes, it's just individual plays. This guy is doing good, that girl is doing good, that lady is doing good. It doesn't work like that. We need the entire community to outperform other communities, so we can be recognized in this country. And SAPAA will provide that by raising the awareness. We're not trying to tell people what to do, but we're trying to open the dialogue where people can really and truly benefit. People can call you and say, hey, this is what I do, these are my degrees, I'm here, I've been here for 6 months. Lead me, show me the way. I don't want to wait for a long time to figure this out. Guys, put your hands together for Ayman. Ayman drove all the way from in Indiana to join us. I had a very inspiring conversation with Ayman. Ayman told me, I heard about SAPAA, and I moved here about a year and a half, 2 years ago. These are my degrees. I did this back home. I am here, I'm driving a cab. Nothing is wrong with driving a cab, but I'm making a lot of money, and I don't want that to just make me take the easy way out, and by the time I get old, it's too late for me to change that. So he figured it out. So my answer to him is this: driving a cab is not a problem, but you need to own the cab company. Delivering pizzas for a living for $4 an hour, not a problem, but as long as you're gonna own that company. IT, as long as you own that company, we're fine. Doctors getting other doctors in business, that's fine. But we have to network, and SAPAA provides that platform to do that. And the transition need to be seamless, and if you don't network, that transition will never be seamless. It will always be painful. So we need to talk. So it took me 20 years to figure out how to be part of the system. And it took a lot of folks, who are in the Domino system. Perry Zilniski, that was a vice president, now the owner of a company that has 60 stores. Bill Oliver, who is a supervisor now in Denver. They saw something in me, and they kept convincing me, you need to do this. But I resisted that change for a long time, because my friends, people who were around me, like, hey, you go home with $200 every day in cash. Why do you want to be a manager and make less? But these folks saw something in me, and they showed me the way. The American dream is most of the time is misunderstood. People think it's a 9-to-5 job with Saturday and Sunday off. It doesn't work like that. You make your American dream. The American dream is an individual thing. For some folks, it's doing something they love while they pay their bills and save for retirement. For some folks, it's doing something for the community, but it's really and truly has to be tailor-made and designed by you. So you are the designer of your American dream. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Small business fuels the American economy. So not the big corporations, but the small business fuels the American economy. And when small business is doing great, middle class is prospering. So how did I get to owning these stores and becoming successful in Domino's Pizza? Mentoring, coaching were the first two things I encountered. But networking came late in my case. So now here at SAPAA, we're trying to use that as the main ingredient, networking. And then once we network and tell you, hey, this is the person that can help you, then we can find you the coach and we can find you the mentor. So these are really important things: mentoring, coaching, and networking. The rat race. You know, Ayman decided to get out of that rat race. He doesn't want to work 15, 16 hours and make $6,000, $7,000 a month. He wants to work less and make more than that. So that's getting out of that. It starts with the idea, Ayman. You got to find something that you love and you're going to be good at. You got to decide that. We cannot decide that for you. But once you decide what you want to do, a mentor can help you and a coach can take you along the way and get you there. A job and a business go hand on hand. So if you don't work and outperform and save the money, 20% or more of your income, you cannot save to open that business. So really and truly, I'm not just here to advocate business, 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 but no, you have to really find the field, outperform, save 20% or more of your income so you can start that business that you've been dreaming of, for the longest. Bank hard. Don't spend money the wrong way. If it doesn't need to be spent, please, please, please save it. It will really and truly pay off down the road. Now, if you work for a company that's successful and you really love what you do, duplicate it. That's the American system. You learn how the company runs, you get the ideas, you get the experience, then you duplicate, you create your own company. That's how it works. But there's no job security. Even though a lot of folks say, hey, I have the experience. I've been doing this for a long time. Guess what? When you start making $75,000 and up, you will be replaced by a young kid who will be paid $25,000. And guess what? People say, but what about the experience? Guess what? The software will be closing that gap. So don't rely on, hey, I'm experienced, I'm going to be secured at that job. There's no job security. Let me talk about Domino's quickly. When I started with Domino's, I was going to school. This was an entry-level job, but when I got in, I saw something that I liked. The fast-paced, being competitive, and really and truly, just seeing the results day in and day out. It's a company that depends on homegrown heroes. It doesn't, get rich folks who have money and bring them in and make them franchisees. No, 90% of our franchisees are or used to be delivery drivers. So, but who's going to take care of you when you're there? The company really and truly has a very good, support system. They invest in their people, training classes, seminars, and rewarding success. Plus the mentoring, coaching, and networking. Those are the main ingredients that we have in this country. It is fun to work at Domino's Pizza, so that's why I stayed. And you see, like I said, the results on a daily basis. Okay, to get your journey started, you must be positive. Get rid of all the negative people in your life. Kick them to the curb. If you have folks who are telling you constantly you can't do it, who do you think you are? It's time for these people to go. I refer to them as kasarin al-magadif. They don't need to be in your life. They need to be out of your life. You need to lead, follow, or get out of the way. This is the way it works. So if you see something that you believe in, lead it. If you like it but somebody else is leading, you need to follow. And if you can't do either, you need to get out of the way. You need to understand the way your brain works. If you feed it negative thoughts, it's going to produce negative results. If you convince yourself it's doable, then guess what? You will do it. It never fails. Now, one thing we need to understand, and we need to use that with our children, is that failure is temporary. Because if you know that failure is temporary, then you can bounce back. But if you think, hey, oh my God, I failed at this, I'm done, guess what? You're going to be done. So that's really and truly something that we need to teach our kids. We need to be resilient and persistent. So if you fail, keep trying and keep trying until you get it. There are so many examples. Mary Kay, that lady, really and truly, we know who she is, but she failed so many times after her husband passed away. But now she has one of the big corporations in America. Colonel Sanders, another example. He kept failing and failing and failing and failing until he became, I guess, 62, 63, and then he retired a millionaire. Now, instead of using failing, I think we should say trying, not failing. And if you're not failing, you're not trying enough. Okay. Failure is our best friend, but we don't recognize that, because if I fail at doing something, or a friend of mine is doing something and they fail at it, and I sit down with them and I find out why they failed, I can come up with a solution and both of us can be successful. So the difference between average people and overachieving people is, guys, take some guess. When perception of failure, folks who are overachieving and average people, what do they think about failure? You want to take a guess at this? Any guess? I'll take any guess.
Permanent versus temporary.
Permanent versus temporary. Perception of failure. Some of them think it's, hey, I failed, it's forever. While overachieving people think, hey, you know what? It's the step. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to rewind that video. I'm going to look at the play that went wrong, and I'm going to fix it. I'm going to be successful. And they're going to try and try and try till they get it. We have a few of them in the room. I know them. And then response to failure is really what you do after you figure out you failed at this. You get your team together around you and say, hey, we failed at this. How are we going to fix it? And then guess what? People fail more than they succeed. We think, hey, failure is just a few scattered, incidents. No, we fail more than we, succeed. Okay, failure is the price we pay to achieve results and become successful. So if you are not going to try, you're not going to be successful. Look at it as a ship. If you have a nice, beautiful ship that's docked on a port somewhere, yeah, it is safe. It's not going to drown, but it's not going to make money. So it has to sail to make money. And trial and error will fix that for you. It is temporary, but never make it permanent. So we understand that when I fail at something, it's a temporary stage. But if I don't do anything about it, I am making it permanent, and then I become a failure in that case. It's not avoidable. Sometimes we can't avoid failure. We have to fail to learn from it. And if you're not failing, you're not trying enough. And if you're not trying enough, you're not going anywhere. You'll be in the rat race forever. Failure is not final. So if you fail today, get it out of your head. You can bounce back. Now, analysis, paralysis. So many in the room probably have ideas for business or ideas for this and that. But if you sit down and analyze it for like so many years, you paralyze yourself. You got to get to a point where you say, you know what? I'm convinced 70% I am going to do it. It's not 100%, convincing, but it's at 70%. If you don't go ahead and take a move and make it happen, you have made a decision not to make it happen. That's called analysis paralysis. Okay, for the last 2 years, we did a lot of preaching here at SAPAA. We told folks what they do wrong. We told folks this is what they should do. But I really think this is time from this day here in Iowa, remember this day, we should start using the tools to fix the problems versus just analyzing what went wrong and we need to fix. Time to put the tools together. The tools are mentoring, coaching, and networking. SAPAA is the best platform for that. Please join us. We must lead academically. I think we have so many successful high school and college kids who are willing to tutor other kids, because I struggle with doing homework with my kids. I don't know if I forgot everything or what, but really and truly I can use a young successful kid to tutor my kids. So if we start little tutoring groups in every neighborhood, in every city, have Sudanese American kids tutor Sudanese American kids, we will have more than the handful that are making it to Harvard and Yale and other colleges. We must do something about it, because there are parents out there who cannot help their kids with homework. I am one of them. So my wife is doing it, but it costs a lot. Maximize your income potential through retooling. But Radin is going to speak about retooling and how you can make more money doing something you love. There are a lot of courses you can take that are really short courses that will help you earn the $30, $35 an hour, but we are not accessing that because we don't know anything about it and we don't network. So if we network, we can find those. He's going to talk about it in detail, him and Summer, and I think really and truly approach this guy. There are a lot of jobs out there that we can use to make more money. We also complain about not having enough home ownership. So if I tell you you're not owning a home, you need to own a home because it's part of this American dream, and I'm not showing you the way, I am part of the problem. So we're going to change that. In Houston, April 11th, we have our first workshop. We're going to bring in everyone in the community who's paying rent. We're going to sit them down with the experts. They're going to show them how to buy a house. We're going to provide the lenders. We're going to provide the services free of charge for members. And we have worked with a broker who is willing to donate some of what she makes towards a down payment for folks. We're going to start people on the process with only 550 credit points. If you have your credit is 550 only, you can get in a home and pay less than what you pay for that apartment you live in. This brings up a good point. Local chapters. We, the handful of us, we cannot get this rolling unless we get you guys involved. And I think, Yasmin and team today showed us the way. We really and truly want to use this as an example to get the local chapters going, because you can't be in every town, every city if it's only 5 or 6 of us. So we need to get the local chapters started. Business ownership, I will help you. If you have an idea, I'm not going to choose for you what to do, but if you have an idea, I'll sit down with you. Maybe Sally can help. We're willing to mentor you. Mentoring is an American culture, guys. It's a tradition. If you pull someone aside and say, hey, help me out, they will. I learned from Sally because she pulled one of her clients who was a very successful person, and she said, hey, mentor me. The guy took supposedly 1 hour, and then he came and spent the whole day with you to show you how this is done. So it's an American culture. It's a tradition. If you ask people to mentor you and show you the way, they will do it. But you must be willing to say, hey, help me out. Same thing, Ayman figured that out already. Been here for 2 years. So access the system, get engaged, and we're here for you. Paying back to the community. Saad asked me earlier, what do I want to do with, why did I want to do this? What did I want to do the SAPAA thing? It's my way of paying back to my community, because along the way, since the first day I landed in New York in '87, there were folks who were willing to take off the shirts off of their backs and give them to me. There were folks that let me sleep on their beds because I didn't have money to rent on my own and get a bed. That's how I pay them back. I'm not going to go to them and say, hey, by the way, in '87 you did this for me, so I'm giving you this now. No. Somebody helped me out, I'm going to help somebody out. And if everyone in the room does the same thing, we will do good. We unleash the power of people. Everyone is capable of doing a little bit. So instead of a handful of people doing a lot, if we're all getting engaged, everyone is doing a little bit. 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, we can do so much for our community. Being part of a losing team is not an option, guys. You need to be competitive. You are Sudanese American now. You can't be the last. You can't be أطيش. ما ممكن نكون أطيش يا جماعة في أمريكا. That doesn't work. Who are we going to blame? We can't blame anyone for that. So we need to work together, and hopefully within the next few years we move up the ranks a little bit. We can't be the last, we can't be trailing. So if you respect your fellow community member and they respect you back, everything will be solved and resolved. That's where we start. Respect, trust, and love. Donate your time and money, guys. The Jewish community, the other communities who are really and truly doing good in America, when a leader comes and say, hey, this is the idea, they say, how much do I need to pay? What do I chip in to fix or be part of that idea? It's not a Sudanese culture, guys. It's not. We need to start learning from our kids. Our kids in schools, they are brought up in this system. They come and ask you, hey, can you give me some money? I need to donate to this charity. Because this is the way America works. But we are not, we're the implant that's rejecting the body. We need to start thinking about this honestly. If you believe in what you see today, please help us. This doesn't come for free, and we really and truly got to work together to do it. So, hopefully I brought something here that's new to you to help you out in your future, hopefully business or future, job or mentoring or whatever. But please give us your feedback. SAPAA is in its infancy stages, and we really and truly need the feedback. We need the support. We need you to get involved. We need the kids to get involved. And thank you very much.